Well, friends, it's Mal York here. Just bring you your weekly news. It's Wednesday, the 16th of February. Well, friends, this Sunday we're back at all services, 8:30, 10:30, 5 o'clock and 6:30 p.m. And this Sunday we'll unfortunately be farewelling Stu and Kate Holman. We'll celebrate Stu and Kate at every service. After the 8:30 a.m. we'll have a morning tea where you can have the opportunity to farewell them. After the 10:30 service we'll be having our lunch down at Bancroft Park at 12 o'clock. Bring your own lunch. Our picnic lunch there where we get an opportunity to farewell them. At 4 p.m. before our 5 o'clock service we're going to have an afternoon tea outside where we can farewell them, and after the 6:30 p.m. congregation we'll just have a small supper where you'll once again have the opportunity to farewell them. So friends, if I can encourage you to join us on Sunday as we farewell the Holmans, that'd be really wonderful. In addition to that, on Monday evening, the 21st of February, we have our annual general meeting. It starts at 7 o'clock. Friends, this is a really important time in the life of our church. It's a time where we'll hear about ministries of the past year and how they've gone. We'll hear about the finances of the church and where we're at. In addition to that, friends will also elect people to important positions such as wardens, parish councillors and parish nominators. And also we normally do synod reps as well, but every 3 years, so we won't be doing that this year. But friends, if you feel that someone should be standing as a warden, a parish councillor or a parish nominator, it's really important that we get people nominated. We're actually in need of parish nominators. Only one person's been nominated so far. So if you know someone who could do that role, hopefully that role won't have to be used over the next year. But let me encourage you to nominate someone this Sunday at church. On Friday, we're planning to send out the AGM reports and the financial reports via email to everyone, and we'll have a limited amount of hard copies available on Sunday if people want to take them as well. Friends, our outreach series is coming up. John's going to be speaking at every service from the 27th of February, the 6th of March and the 13th of March on 7 reasons to reconsider Christianity. Friends, let me encourage you to be thinking and praying about who you can invite to this series, family or friends, to come along. It would be wonderful to have many people really being challenged by these talks. Friends, after this we'll also be doing a Life of Jesus course, which John will be helping us with as well. And so this is a really wonderful opportunity to be inviting our friends along. Let me encourage you to think about that. Friends, our hub launch is coming up soon. I'm just giving you advance notice. Mel's and her team are starting to get things together. We're really excited about this happening at church, and it's going to be a wonderful time. In fact, it's on the 19th to the 22nd of April, so keep those dates aside. It's just after the week after Easter, and it's really going to be some of the best days ever that you can be part of. So let me encourage you. Our hub is coming up, and we are getting excited about that. Well, friends, that's all of the news I have, but I'm going to hand over to Stu Holman, who's going to give us an extended update on the building project. Take care. God bless.
Hi, St Andrews. Stuart Holman with you again. Last week, as I began this report on the work of the St Andrews Building Committee, I gave us a kind of an overview of our progress toward the plan for a new redevelopment of our site and our facilities at 1 Bancroft Avenue. Now, if you've missed that, it's attached to last week's video news. You might want to have a look at that report so you'll kind of be in the picture and up to speed with the rest of the story that will begin now. Because you see, this report is specifically to tell you about our co-design workshops, which we ran late last year. You'll probably remember that over 100 of our members at St Andrews signed up to a series of workshops which we developed in a sort of a picture of the kind of church that we want to become so that we know what kind of building we ought to build. Now, of course, we already know that our overall vision and aim is to be growing disciples of Jesus Christ, and especially the kind of disciples who grow more disciples of Jesus Christ. And so with this framework, we began in our co-design workshops to talk about, well, okay, how will we do that? What will be important to us as we do that? What will be our style, our vibe, our manner? How do we want to be perceived by our surrounding community while we do this? Now, ultimately, we were working together to describe the kind of disciple-growing church we want to become so that our new facilities can best serve that purpose long into the future? Well, having done that work, we now need to tell our design team our thinking so that they can play their part in the design process. Now, you'll remember that the next step in our process is an ideas competition for architects. Given our situation, given our ambitions as a church, given our budget on our site, what will they suggest that we do? So as we brief our architects, this is what we're going to tell them that the members of St Andrews think. We've collated together the record of all of our design workshops, all that thinking, all that discussion, all those diagrams and paper and creative ideas, and we've put them all into a single document. And it's big. It's over 100 pages. If you're interested, I'll have that document put up on the church website so you can read all of it in all of its glorious detail. But our architects certainly won't want to read through all of that, and maybe you won't either. So what the building committee did was to try to bring it all together, to distill and to coalesce it all onto one page. Special thanks to Jen Nicholson, who's helped us with this. We've built this executive summary, which we'll put at the front of the report. And I want to introduce to us all now the main ideas that we've come together with. So, first of all, where are we now? Well, we're a pretty traditional style of Anglican church, not just in our buildings, and they certainly do convey an image of solid Anglican heritage, but in the way we operate, even across the diversity of our 4 congregations. We particularly love and value our children's and youth programs. Within each service, our music is an important component of our corporate worship, whether it's led by an organist and a choir or by a contemporary band and singers. Sharing food together after a service is also a very valued aspect of our community, although this is varied in approach, and we've had varied success, I guess, in the different congregations over the years, but food is big at St Andrews. One of the major challenges that we face is segmentation. While many of our members feel a strong sense of connection to others in our chosen congregations, there's sometimes a bit of a disconnect between who we believe we are, a welcoming family church, and how we actually present ourselves. For example, some of our outward-facing ministries operate quite separately from our main Sunday services and our main activities. Each of our 4 congregations can feel a little isolated, and the teams who serve in the differing areas of our congregations sometimes don't always connect. Social connections can take extended time to form. We recognise that. Well, okay, where do we want to go? What do we want to become? Despite our weaknesses and our challenges, actually we are a very outward-facing church. We want our wider community to share our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. We want to have and to project a distinctively Christian identity, and we're committed to showing how our church is in fact a community of people. It's not just buildings. We hope that our site will facilitate every member ministry rather than just ministry run by a select few. Our members anticipate opportunities to build up into a community that can provide multiple points of access for non-members, whether they're firm non-believers or whether they're curious onlookers or whether they're Christians who've not yet found a church. And so, with this in mind, we want facilities that can open a window onto visible relationships in our Christian community. And to do this, we anticipate the idea of flow to a what's next. This might be a flow into a post-church supper with friends, or it might be connecting with others after a funeral, or we might even flow from being a church attendee into serving on a team. What we want is a site and facilities that prompt openness so that people on the outside can get a sense of the life that's happening on the inside. What kind of redevelopment does this need? What could it look like? Well, we're kind of anticipating that a multi-purpose hall space, probably reusing our existing structure, would serve as a hub and a home for our community and also for the wider Roseville community. We want to offer tools to our members to take ownership of the ways in which they serve. We'd like an openness that sparks curiosity from the community. It inspires a sense of feeling welcomed, whether someone is visiting or whether they're a long-term attendee. Remember that we're not thinking about changing our main worship space, that 1930s brick building that we all love, although it's surely going to need some TLC and some upgrades. But around that, we want social accessibility with both indoor and outdoor spaces which invite anyone and everyone to feel at home, perhaps through sharing meals and conversations. We do anticipate that online digital accessibility is going to continue to be a necessary component of our ministry at St Andrews. And with this in mind, modernised technology and tools in areas for music and catering is going to be important. Like the hub at the centre of a wheel with centrifugal and centripetal forces that act upon each other to keep the wheel turning and moving forward, we hope that what we become will change the kinds of stories that we might tell about our members and our soon-to-be members. Someone living alone might pass by and seeing what's inside, they might be curious enough to actually enter and join in on a weekday coffee or lunch or some other activity. A young child walking past with their grandparent might see the excitement of playgroup and they want to join in. That grandparent might also be drawn in to that group and to experience a new kind of connection. Maybe a teenager is going to drop by after school and shoot some basketball hoops with some local friends. A church member might host their community group beside the church kitchen so that they can commute from work and prepare dinner and share as they grow in fellowship and faith together. Maybe some local cyclists might bring their wheels and take away coffees to a garden space that's outside the hub, but where they can chat and where they can joke after their early Saturday morning ride. Someone who's feeling disconnected could know that if they call a friend, that there's a space where they can meet up at our hub and where they can catch up. You see, crossing the threshold for a one-off event like a wedding could become a what's next in that person's connection with St Andrews, because in that first moment, they experience the life of our church. You see, overall, we want a space that can allow us and our community to flow from one thing to the next, while also being a space to dwell as a spiritual home. We want a space that captures our identity while helping us to disciple our members and to build their connections. We want a space that allows us to grow openly and invite others in. Collectively, St Andrews has spoken. We want to be a home and a hub for our members and for our wider community who will flow into our family, knowing that the heart of our family and the centre of our hub is the Lord Jesus Christ himself. Please continue to pray for your building committee as they now move towards achieving this vision.